Graham and Wallace are the biggest art stars to ever come out of Canada. They have known one another for 40 years. All come from Vancouver, Canada. All continue to live and work there. Their work has set in motion a distinct art culture in Vancouver, moving the city from a position of relative isolation to one at the leading edge of contemporary art.
And that gives a small summation of Picture Start, a great documentary that you can see on Bravo. We are joined by two of the subjects of the documentary, Rodney Graham and Ian Wallace.
Gentlemen, how are
Ian,
you?
You've been kind enough to wear your green socks in homage to the Green Men. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, very
good. Maybe Ian, we should start with you with this, with Picture Start, because a lot of this sort of circles back to everyone meeting through you. So maybe talk about the documentary and what it is, if you can.
Well, it's directed by Harry Killis and produced by Rick Bierstow. And they came to us and said, you know, we've heard about you and we're interested in what you've been doing, and, you know, something about Vancouver too, I think they were interested in.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'd like to make a documentary about what you've done, your story, in effect.
And this story really sort of begins in the 60s at UBC, I guess, when a group of people came together. And you were an instructor at the time at UBC?
Yeah, I taught art history and an aspiring artist, actually active exhibiting in the 60s. And taught art history and very excited about what was happening in contemporary art then as I am now. And sort of tuned in to the latest of the latest, what was happening, and made sure that all the students that I was talking to knew what was happening and conveyed my excitement, I suppose.
And Rodney, how did you meet Ian?
Well, I was a student.
Yeah.
And Ian, of course, was kind of a galvanizing force on the art scene in Vancouver, especially at UBC. He was teaching art history and was a practicing artist and exhibiting in the Fine Arts Gallery in the basement of the old library there, which is an important place. Alvin Balkin ran this gallery. It was just kind of, I kind of was undecided as to whether to be an artist or a writer, because I was, you know, just an undergraduate, and it was kind of a deciding factor, Ian's classes, really, for me. And later, of course, I befriended Ian, and we worked on a film project with Jeff Wall. And
did you guys have any sense, because I mean the reason that the documentary is being made is because you know, I don't know whether you guys will chafe at this, but there is a group of artists that have international renown and maybe aren't that well known in Canada. Did you guys feel something special happening, Rodney, at that time? Did you feel like the group of you together was doing something really important, or was it just following through on your work and your passion?
It was a different time, really. I mean, it was art wasn't so much the kind of viable career that it is for young aspiring artists today. It was more just something that one did to kind of avoid a straight job, in my case. And, but
congratulations.
But I did feel that I did. I managed to avoid. Well, I've had a few in my day, but no, I felt we were doing something important, at least, you know, that it felt like we were doing something special at the time. And it was certainly rewarding to have it kind of recognized at a later point. You know?
And Ian, of course, being credited with an art movement and having a documentary made of you and your friends, and the group of you, it must be kind of odd when the camera's around and trying to describe what you do as we are right now. What was making the documentary like for you?
Oh, it was fun, actually. I mean, the film crew and working with Harry and Rick and Danny and such, who was the cameraman, it was really fun. They kind of followed me around. They came to the studio, came to the gallery where I was doing a show. I was in Paris, and they came and followed me around to my favorite haunts in Paris and photographed me in my hotel room, etc. We're working on my work, etc. So it was fun.
There's always an aspect, or I get the sense that there is, I mean, part of this for all you guys is the thought that goes into what you're doing and trying to maybe understand it yourselves and for other people as well. how was that part of it? I mean, I guess there's always that struggle as an artist to maybe try and explain yourself. Is that important, or is that something that you think about?
I mean, I do a lot of explaining about my own work and standing in front of the work. I don't think that's the best way to do things. I think people should see the work and respond to it in their own way, and I'm always happy to add to their response in a way. But we're all intellectuals of sorts, you might say, you know, but we're very, very connected to the world in a very expressive way. Yeah. And we use new media, photography, video, et cetera, all in a very contemporary way, which is really important. So it does connect us to what is happening and where our imagination takes us.
And Rodney, you haven't seen the film yet, but what was the experience like for you making the doc?
It was good because Harry is a really great interviewer and a really nice person. But I found it kind of difficult because it's just not something that I'm very good at, you know. I get a bit nervous and being asked questions. Not that you guys are making me nervous. but no, on the whole, it was a pleasant experience, and working with all of those guys. And Danny, actually worked with him when I tried to break into the music video business earlier in the 80s, and we shot a video for the Payolas, and he shot it, back in the day.
A video for Payolas?
Yeah, we shot it. Yeah, he shot. I produced a video when I was trying to find other ways to make money. But I didn't. That was a career that did not happen.
You know, there's an aspect of that's touched on in the film, but is an interesting conversation as well. As you know, there's a certain fearlessness that you all show in both being patient with your work and also willing to try other things all the time as well. And Rodney, is that unusual within the art world or within your group that you guys are so willing to constantly challenge and look and try?
I have to say, it's one thing about the art world that I find really good is very kind of open to different possibilities. It's kind of that's why I'm kind of glad I chose that as a career. I mean, you can really do anything you want within an art context, and the art world is generally accepting of different approaches. You know. So I would say of any kind of like milieu, the art milieu is the most accepting and forgiving of, you know,
experimentalism.
Because we see within the film. I mean, Ian, you guys, you know, film work, music, you know, photography, obviously, painting. I mean, there's sort of everything that you guys have touched on to attempt to express what it is that, you know, that you're experiencing in the world. Does that feed off each other within a group of friends like that? Because it really seems like having that around you all the time invigorates all of you.
Yeah, it is a group of friends. It's been described as a movement or a group, et cetera. But it's not. It's very, very open-ended too. I mean, there's many, many more people involved in, you know, being a part of what we do in Vancouver, in the Vancouver art scene, than just this little group of friends that's sort of been called the Vancouver School. But
there's a great moment where Jeff Wall talks about, you know, the context that history gives over time, and that must be interesting as well, Rodney, for you guys to sort of see how that context is forming around you, you know, as you're doing your work and as you're going through, like people trying to, you know, the Vancouver movement and all these labels to it. On the intellectual side of art, it must be interesting to watch people try and figure this out and what it is and how important it is and how it fits into the context.
Yeah. I mean, I just have to say in this context, the music was kind of important to it. Kind of brought us together back in the day, and in the late 70s, early 80s, we had a band together, and that was kind of something that kind of, I don't know, opened up some other possibilities, certainly for me, because at that time I was kind of like not really certain what I was going to do in terms of an art practice, and the kind of collaborative aspect of the music, the band project we had was something that kind of, I don't know, it made things,
Well, thanks so much, gentlemen. If you want to see Picture Start, it's premiering at Doxa May the 13th, and it will also be airing on Bravo May 16th at 5 o'clock. And if you want to get Doxa tickets or find out about other films that will be on during the festival, you can just go to their website.
Yeah, this is a beautiful peek into the world of art and the artistic process, and just some very interesting friends.
Thank you again.
You guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.